Well, what do you know, ladies and gentlemen? We have another video about Doctor Who, and this time we're going to be talking about the showrunner, Russell T Davies, a guy who apparently has admitted, and I made a video about this before, has admitted that this show is essentially a big flop. It's not having the ratings that they would like and hope for, considering that they're using this to push their ideology, which they've openly admitted, and they're going to do it here again. But, considering that the show is a massive flop, it goes to show that he's still not willing to talk about business, because now we have another article here from That Park Place with a headline that reads, Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies admits that the topics he writes about are being a gay man or being a queer person.
Wow.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're watching Doctor Who, clearly what excites you the most is finding out who's gay and who's queer. That is the leading thing that everybody has on their mind when they're going into a TV show or a movie or a video game for that matter. Like, clearly that's what everybody wants, right? No, it's not, because this show lost 2 million fucking viewers, man. More than 2 million, actually. Lost about 2.5 million viewers compared to its last iteration, which is amazing to me because, like I say in every single video, its last iteration was considered its worst. So now it's half of what it was previously worse, which is crazy. Dr. Who showrunner Russell T Davies recently admitted that the topics he writes about for television are being a gay man or being a queer person. Again, super exciting. So make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you are new here. Let's get into it. As reported by Radio Times, Davies appeared as a BAFTA event called A Life in Pictures, Russell T Davies, where he stated it's not so much that there's unexplored topics, but the topics I do write about keep changing, like being a gay man or being a queer person in society is changing now. Man, like everything has to be tied to their sexuality. Like they are such boring people. They have nothing else to talk about. They think who they sleep with, their bedroom antics is the most important thing to talk about. And it's fucking boring. I can't imagine there's people out there that literally lead their entire lives with who they have sex with. If that is what you're leading your life with, and that is what gives you purpose, and that's what you figure is exciting to talk about, you are one of the most boring people I have ever met in my entire life. And I cannot wait to ignore you. That's basically it. He continued 10 years ago, or even when we did Queer as Folk 25 years ago, we were on the up, and it was like good times are here. Now they're absolutely not. That wave coming from America where they're trying to have legislation banning drag queens, that's absolutely going to come here. Good. You should be in fear, honestly, because you know what? You people love to say that we should be in fear, right? You guys love to say that, oh, straight people should know no moments of peace, right? Oh, we're coming for your children. You guys made that little joke song thinking that it was actually a joke, but no, we actually take that shit very seriously. The problem is that nobody had an issue with gay people, man. It was one of the most accepted things a few years ago, probably like 10 years ago, was super accepted. Even 5 years ago, super accepted. Nobody gave a fuck. But then what ended up happening was you get shit like this, man. Look at this fucking creature. You get things like this where people just don't know when to stop. And then the problem is when you keep talking about the same thing over and over and over and over again, essentially what ends up happening is that people get very annoyed, right? People get tired of it. Nobody wants to hear about it. And then they get to the point where they don't even want to deal with it. And now you go from acceptance to just flat out like getting annoyed. And I don't want to call it hatred, but I just want to call it flat out getting annoyed. That's really what it is. Like the moment you start leading with, well, as a gay man, you're automatically going to tune out a lot of people because your entire perception of life is based in your bedroom antics, and nobody finds that interesting. The only people that do find that interesting is other people who think just like you, which is ridiculous. Davies went on, we might get a Labour government in the next couple of years, but that just means we'll have a right-wing government after that. They're all waiting. They've started the conversation in this country about banning abortion. It started already amongst the right wing. I mean, this guy is... God damn. Imagine wanting to protect life being a bad thing is insane. But again, whatever. That's besides the point. This person just views everything through a political lens, right? Even their sexuality, it has to be politicized. He then declared, so I think our rights are paper thin. The world is becoming unsafe. So I will always keep writing about that. I will always keep writing about male gayness if people will have me. Davies then confirmed that his next show after Doctor Who will be focused on this. The world has changed. The world changes around you. So whatever I do next after Doctor Who, I hope it's about that. Absolutely, because we're in a very strange world now. You people made it strange. That's the thing. Like, you don't understand that you're the ones that made it strange. You had everything you wanted. You had all the gay rights. You had the gay marriage. You had all that shit. You had everything that you wanted, but you just couldn't stop because you went from wanting to be equal to wanting to be superior. So you started to ask for certain things that will give you privileges among I would say, above everyone else. And that's where people had a problem, because it wasn't about equality. It was about supremacy. Like, you want to be supreme. You want to be the new norm. But the problem is, you're never going to be the new norm. The numbers just do not support it. It's never going to happen. Biologically speaking, we're just not designed that way. So you're always not going to be the norm. But nothing was wrong with that. Like, you were perfectly fine the way things were years ago, but you just had to keep pushing. You had to eventually get to the point where you were trying to trans kids. And that's where people lost. Like, you lost so much people. I got to tell you, man, the gay movement, the activist version of the gay movement absolutely lost people when they started involving kids in this shit. When it was just adults trying to fight for the right for marriage and to fuck or whatever, nobody cared. But the moment you start saying, oh, well, you know, trans kids are a thing, we need to make sure we put them on hormone blockers. We need to make sure we cut off their titties. We need to make sure that they know that once they hit 18, they could chop off everything and everything will be perfectly fine and it's totally reversible, even though it's not. Once you started involving kids, that's where you lost people. That's where you really, truly lost people. Or when you started having, you lost me. I got to tell you, you lost me when you started having drag queen story hour. And I'm not talking about the shit that they try to put publicly to make themselves look better. No. I'm talking about the ones that are dressed like strippers, trying to read books and doing dances in front of little kids. That's what you fucking lost me, honestly. And then on top of that, too, they gaslight you and try to pretend it's family friendly. Get the fuck out of here, because you know that you would not have a stripper, an actual real female stripper, come in there and start stripping for the kids and go down to barely anything and then read a fucking book. Like, that's not happening. So if you wouldn't have that, well, chances are you probably would have that, because you guys are fucking sick bastards. But still, like, you lost people when you did that. And that's where people said, you know what, this is stupid. We're not dealing with this anymore. Like, you guys are just doing too much. You're doing too much. You know, you ever, you know, you give an inch, you take a fucking 10 miles. Like, that's what you did. These comments are unsurprising. Davies told Deadline it was his job to push transgender and queer stories. He said, I know I was part of a rising tide of gay, lesbian, and other writers, all of us contributing to the soaps and chipping into primetime dramas, all of us slowly and then rapidly increasing the visibility of queer characters on screen. And I'm lucky that I was one that burst through that and got on screen. He continued, I'm always aware, especially as time marches on, that I carry on this legacy of being white, male, and gay. And it's my job to look beyond that, because there's no point in sitting still. I have to look at myself and be certain that I've moved on. I look to society and try to listen to what's going on and open gateways. You know, I got to tell you, man, this whole thing about sexuality being your leading forefront of thought is got to be super, like, it is so fucking boring. Even when I report on it, I know it's important for people to know information, but I sit here and I read through this and I'm like, this is fucking boring. Like, this is unbelievably boring to be this kind of person in life. And the moment you wake up, you're like, yep, I'm male and gay. That's what I am today. And you just move on, and you have to tell everybody about it in every article, every single interview, every single thing that you create. It's boring, man. What are you doing? What are you honestly doing? So aside from losing 2.5 million viewers. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.